Imagine the heavy silence right after a sudden, devastating loss. It's crushing, right? But almost immediately, that silence is broken by the frantic, urgent need to somehow secure a fragile future for the ones left behind. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story where a grieving family was suddenly forced to manage a massive, overwhelming inheritance just to survive. The stakes? Well, they were impossibly high. And as you're going to see, securing that future is really straightforward. Picture yourself standing in the middle of a vast, dense forest that, out of nowhere, belongs to you. It's a lot to take in. This family was simply trying to take this overwhelming burden and convert it into a secure, predictable financial lifeline. It makes complete sense. But hiding right there inside this supposed lifeline was an absolutely terrifying legal trap that they didn't even see coming. You know, when you're suddenly thrust into being responsible for a minor's inheritance, the pressure is literally crushing. Every single signature on a piece of paper feels like it carries the sheer weight of a loved one's memory. Like the quote says, a sudden loss leaves behind way more than just grief. It leaves this very fragile future that absolutely must be protected. Now, this family genuinely believed they had found a perfect way out of a tough spot, but the legal reality? Well, it would turn out to be anything but simple. Okay, let's look at how this whole situation built up over time. A father tragically passes away, leaving his family in deep mourning. And he leaves behind 40 hectares of land, which is mostly deep, unmanageable forest, to his daughter Mia, her mother Caroline, and her brother Thomas. To put that into perspective, 40 hectares is massive. The practical reality was incredibly daunting. Caroline and Thomas knew for a fact they couldn't just manage a commercial forest. I mean, they didn't even live there, and the upkeep would be impossible. So they made a perfectly logical, sound decision. Let's sell the land and put that money straight into a safe account to fund Mia's future education. Simple, right? Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a timber buying company swoops in and offers a genuinely life-changing sum, 370,000 euros. For the family, this was the ultimate rescue. It meant Mia's education was completely, 100% funded. Even the local child protection authority looked at the deal and gave it the green light. It felt like a flawless victory for Caroline, Thomas, and Mia. Section 1. The court's question. The court did not focus on emotion. It asked one key legal question. Does this contract actually guarantee the child will get paid? Here is where things get tricky. The timber company didn't just hand over one simple document to sign. No, they split the entire deal into two completely separate agreements. Contract 1 was just for the physical dirt, the land itself, valued at 90,000 euros. Contract 2, however, was for the biological assets, the actual trees, and that was valued at a whopping 280,000 euros. By splitting the land and the trees onto two separate pieces of paper, the buyers essentially engineered a dark, hidden gap between the moment of signing and the actual payout. And that brings us to a frankly terrifying scenario. What if a company gets to chop down your forest forever but never actually pays you a dime? The Child Protection Authority saw that big, shiny 370,000 euro payout number and just approved the deal. But they completely missed a devastating mechanical flaw hiding right there in the fine print. You see, the law requires courts to look right past the good intentions of a buyer and actively, aggressively hunt for the worst-case scenario. And looking at these two contracts, the worst-case scenario was an absolute nightmare for little Mia. Let's actually walk through this loophole step by step, because it's kind of mind-blowing how it worked. Step 1. Caroline, Thomas, and Mia sign the papers. According to the fine print, the very day they sign, the rights to all those trees are immediately legally handed over to the buyer. Step 2. The buyer can legally roll in the trucks and start chopping down the forest right away. But wait, here is the catch. The actual payment landing in Mia's bank account, that was tied to Step 3, the official transfer of the property in the National Land Registry. If that registry process got delayed by, say, a single missing document or a random technical error, the payment just wouldn't happen, resulting in Step 4. The family loses their entire forest while sitting around waiting for money that might literally never arrive. And boom, this is exactly where the legal trap snaps shut. The contract explicitly allowed the timber company to cancel the land contract if they hit any bureaucratic hurdles. But, and this is the absolute catastrophic flaw here, canceling the land contract did not automatically cancel the tree contract. Are you kidding me? The timber company could legally just walk away from buying the land, but legally keep the rights to harvest 26 hectares of forest indefinitely. Basically, Mia's land would be completely stripped of its most valuable asset, its value would be totally decimated, and she would have absolutely no legal right to even demand the money. This brilliantly illustrates the true fundamental function of the justice system in cases like this. The law's duty isn't to sit there and figure out if the timber company were the good guys or the bad guys. Actually, the court explicitly stated they weren't doubting the company's honesty at all. The law's duty is strictly to act as a protective shield for a minor's financial interests. Judges are literally required to scrutinize every single worst-case scenario. If the written words on the page leave even a tiny microscopic crack where a child's future could be destroyed, the court absolutely must step in. And that's exactly what happened. The appellate court intervened. Recognizing this massive, looming risk, the judges stepped in and blocked the entire transaction. They straight up rejected a life-changing €370,000 sale, prioritizing the absolute, rock-solid safety of Mia's future inheritance over what looked like a picture-perfect deal. So, what does this all mean for us? What's the real takeaway from this explainer? Well, when high stakes are involved, a firm handshake, a solid reputation, or even a desperately needed financial lifeline simply aren't enough. We all want to believe in the best of people, right? But as this case so clearly shows, trust alone cannot protect you. The law does not govern intentions, it governs exactly what is written on the page. When you are responsible for someone else's fragile future, you can't rely on what you hope will happen. You have to be prepared for what the paper legally allows to happen. Because in the end, it's the ink, not the intention, that dictates our reality. So, when it comes down to it, are you trusting the people or are you reading the paper? One decision changed everything. Watch the next case right here and subscribe for more real stories.